there is Robert Guerrero. Robert, how are you, my man?
All right, how you doing, Ray?
I'm doing okay, Robert. First of all, I want to ask you, we are in the midst of the coronavirus pandemic. How are you and your family doing? Has everyone been safe and sound during these rather difficult times?
Hey, sorry about that, Ray. What was that question
No,
again?
I said, how are you doing? How is your family doing? Has everyone been okay as we, continue to deal with the coronavirus pandemic that has affected, thousands upon thousands around the world?
Yeah, everybody's been great. Just staying at home. Keeping your hands washed, and just enjoying each other. It kind of gets you to reflect back on how important your family is, and just seeing everything going on around the world. It's tough. It's tough to see, and you just got to call your loved ones, hug them whenever you can, and stay safe.
Well, we are one day removed here in the United States from Father's Day. A happy belated Father's Day to you and all the
Here.
dads out there. I know that, very special time, and we honor you guys for what you're able to do for families and everything. Now, how did you spend your Father's Day, Robert?
Just laid low. I talked to my dad on the phone. FaceTimed him. I'm in Vegas, so just enjoyed my kids. Hung out with one of my brothers that's out here and had a little barbecue. The kids swam and just enjoyed that heat out here in Vegas.
Awesome. Well, Robert, now let's talk about, the future for you. You have been a professional since 2001. You have, won a world title in multiple divisions. You've won 3 straight fights. What is the plan for you moving forward? Do you have an idea of when you might be back?
Man, I'm just waiting for this to all kick back off. I'm just staying in shape. You got nothing else to do while you're in quarantine, so work out. I have a gym in my home, so full gym. So I take advantage of that. It's nice to have that and to be blessed with that. So, but yeah, looking to getting into a big fight. Jump right back in. Had those 3 tune-up fights, and to get back in, shake off some cobwebs, and ready to go. So I'm excited, and I just can't wait. I can't wait till PBC starts kicking back off and jump back in.
Robert, we've seen you have, this, what a career that you have had over the course of a multitude of different weight divisions. But, I remember when you announced your retirement against Omar Figueroa, and now you mentioned that, you've won 3 straight, but why did you decide to come back to the sport? Because for those that are new to the sport or don't really know, you and I were commentating for a couple of years
Yeah.
when you sort of transitioned to the boxing commentator role, but then you left that to get back into prize fighting again. Why did you make that choice?
Looking back and assessing everything, I felt that I had more in me. I retired prematurely, just said, you know what, as soon as right after the fight, I walked out and I just said, I'm done. Then, everything that happens with my father, getting hurt, him coming back, making his own comeback from being just his body completely broken up and walking into the gym and wanting to get back and train with people, it inspired me. It inspired me to be like, hey, you know what, get that fire burning again. Let's go. And also to having that time off. Having that time off to relax, let my body recover. Everybody knows what kind of fighter I am. As soon as I fought a war, I was right back within 4 months fighting again another war. So, it takes a toll on your body. And what happens is you don't give your time to recover and assess yourself in the ring also, because you're just constantly going and you're picking up habits. So, sitting ringside with you also too, watching the fighters, watching these different styles, watching all this stuff, it brings a lot of knowledge just sitting there watching and commentating, because, you start picking things apart. You start being more of a student of the game than you were as a fighter. So I learned a lot just sitting right next to you, Ray, just watching and assessing fighters and watching what style beats what and what does good with what fighter and stuff like that. So it really elevated my game.
Did it reignite your love for boxing? Because, you mentioned that you were in war after war after war. The only time that you took off was, when your wife dealt with her medical issues and stuff. So and you had to do that, but that's a different task all to itself. But the time sitting ringside next to me, did that reignite your love for boxing to where you could say, okay, these are things that I did right in training. These are things I did right in the ring. And here's some things that I need to adjust on as I get a little bit older in my life?
Oh, definitely, definitely. That was a big part of it. Also, too, was getting that fire back. Just talking to the fighters. Their game plans. Stuff they work on, different things. You learn a lot. You learn a lot, and I was expecting to go in there and be like, oh yeah, just talk boxing, but it's like sitting there, assessing fighters. It's like being in school. You're learning every day. You're learning different things, and especially the experience that I have under my belt. Um, you start recognizing a lot more different things. And during the time I was training and getting ready for fights, before that, I'll watch film one time and see what the guy looks like or how he moves, and then that's it. I'll just start training and work hard. The one that really did all the assessing and stuff like that was my father.
Mm.
Watching film day in, day out. But that being said, listening to him and what he's showing me and watching and viewing what works with guys, you got to do both. Being a student of the game is one of the things that you got to be in the sport to be on that top elite level.
One thing I notice when it comes to fighters is that, you are a great representation of a father-son tandem that works. And from what you're telling me, because your father had some issues, that, you need your father at his best so you can be at your best. And now I feel like, your father's healthy, he's been training guys and stuff like that. Do you kind of feel that that was a reason why things didn't go your way during, that stretch where you lost 3 in a row a couple years ago?
Well, my dad's always on his game, always
Yeah.
watching film, always getting me ready, always doing everything. The lack was me, not 100% getting ready and watching film, studying, trying to get better. Towards that tail end before I retired and I hung him up, it was, just going through the motions. I trained hard. My dad pushes me all the time to work hard. And it's just the way he raised me, is to just grind, get out there and grind, do it, make it happen. But the mental part of it was just, coasting through, get it done, go out there, work hard, get it done, and, go on the next day again. So, to be at that championship level, be at the top, you have to be in sync, not just yourself, but with your trainer. My father was always on his game, and that's the reason why during fights, I start falling behind in the fight in rounds or whatever, he was able to push me and get me going and to start, doing what I got to do. But at the same time, me not being prepared 100% mental, you got to have that to be able to execute what he's telling you to execute. So, it was a lack of my part, not having that fire and that drive to get out there and be that student of the game. I was lacking that a lot, and it's back. Me and my father, we sit down, we watch film. We're on our game, we're doing our thing, we're having a good time in the gym, we're enjoying every day and every moment with it, and I couldn't be happier, and I feel truly blessed.
And Robert, is it because now you've done very well in your career financially? I mean, you fought Mayweather, you fought Keith Thurman, you've had, countless big fights throughout the course of your career. But, that when you say that you weren't all there, was it because Marvin Hagler had a great statement, and he said that, it's harder to wake up and run in the morning when you're sleeping in silk sheets compared to that of when you are not as well off. And I mean, you are obviously well off and you deserve every penny of it. But was that some of the case that you kind of lost that fire in the belly because you're like, you know what? This fight isn't going to make or break me. I'm good financially. My family's taken care of. My wife is healthy. Was that some of that reasoning?
Uh, I'm probably gonna say no, but
Okay.
you know what? That's just being a fighter. No, that's not it. But you know what? Stuff like that does take a toll on you, and it does, whether you think or not. It doesn't.
Mhm.
Being financially set, having your home, especially having your own training camp. It's pretty much like being at home, and just being in that comfort zone. I mean, you see it time after time, and most fighters say no, but it does have a big part of it, and it's about having that fire, and that's why I take my hat off to Floyd Mayweather. He you know you know, he's making multi-million dollar fights and doing big things, where he still has that fire to train every
Mm.
day, day in, day out, be 100% prepared to be the best. So, you know, you got to have that also. And you know, and then also too, what was it? Just, you know, being a fighter my whole life, you know, as a kid, you know, all the way from, you know, 7, 8 years old up, just training in the gym day in, day out. You know, you make some money, you get comfortable, and it's like, I'm gonna take this day, I'm gonna relax,
Yeah.
or you know, I'm gonna cruise it, I'm gonna cruise training for this week, and then, you know, I'll pick it up next week. You can't do that. You got to be on your game and 100%. So, you know, seeing my dad after his injuries and him coming back, it's like, man, you know,
I have no
it,
excuse.
yeah, no excuse. I mean, he got out of the wheelchair from having, you know, broken pelvis, ribs, you know, collapsed lungs, you know, liver damage, all this stuff, you know, from one fall, shoulders busted up, and him stepping into that gym and being like, hey, I'm ready to go, even though you're not ready. Um, you know, it really does inspire you, and it gets you fired up, and be like, hey, you know what? If he could do it, I could do it, man. You know, I got to go, and I got to stay that mental fortitude to be able to go out there and make it happen.
Well, we're going to bounce around a little bit, Robert, because I wanted there's so much to dive into with your career, both in the past and present, moving forward. But you mentioned Floyd Mayweather. What was that experience like? You were in the ring with him. MGM Grand, pay per view, did very well. What was that experience like? You have told me off camera, but for the viewers that are watching around the world, what was that experience like from the ring walk to fighting him in the ring? Well, tell us about that.
Um, the experience was incredible. I mean, I mean, just walking into the ring, you know, fans going crazy, especially, you know, everybody that fights Floyd, you know, a lot of the fans are there to watch him get beat. So, you know, you have everybody cheering on your side. I mean, it's incredible. Um, the one thing that I tell a lot of people is, you know, he's faster than what everybody thinks he is. You know, from the outside looking in, I mean, you can see punches flying, but when they're coming directly at you, it's a whole different story.
Mm.
I mean, every fighter that's been in there will contest to that and tell you, wow, you know, his speed just changes when it's coming directly at you. But, you know, just the experience. And he told me during a face off when we were getting ready, and he's like, hey, are you ready for this? And me, I was, oh, yeah, I'm ready. You know, world champion, a couple of divisions, I'm ready to go. You know, you ain't scaring me, you ain't backing me down. But what he really meant was, are you ready for what everything that comes around the whole circus, media
Mm-hmm.
tours, you know, fans, everything that goes on, you know, what you got to do, the all access, you know, and also to be 100% prepared mentally and training. It's a lot. It's a lot. And, you know, it could be overwhelming for some fighters, and, you know, that has a big toll on you also. So, you know, but the experience was incredible. I mean, there's no experience, no other experience. It's equivalent to a Super Bowl, you know, walking out of that tunnel for kickoff. So, it was exciting.